teach people how to make 100K in 90 days using the financial power program. So basically using the resources that we have to be able to make money. I do focus on small business owners. So a lot of people who want to be business owners who don't know how to actually run a business. Hey, okay, you can hear me. All right, cool. So the topic tonight is structure versus strategy. So how to build your business and make it fundable. Me personally, knew nothing, absolutely nothing about businesses. I am with a company called One Stop Taxes, and they offered LLC setups. And I didn't even know that it was so simple to get an LLC. I didn't know exactly what an LLC was. What did the acronym stand for? But I wanted to be a product of the product, and that's when I got my first LLC. I realized that um, it's just, I don't know if it's a lack of knowledge and lack of communication or lack of resources when it comes to our community. It's so much money that we're leaving on the table because we don't understand and we don't know. All right, good, Chappelle. We don't know how to structure our business properly. We're just getting an EIN number, or we're just working under our social, and we're putting ourselves at risk to be sued for anything that we may do wrong. So I wanted to hop on today briefly, just to really go over what it is and how to make it where your business is fundable. Because a lot of businesses aren't fundable. You know, a lot of people have great ideas and they're wondering, like, how come no one wants to invest in me? How come no companies wants to give me any loans or grants? But it's not because you have a bad idea. It's because the business itself isn't set up correctly. So I just wanted to touch on that. And I've talked about it before, I wanted to go into depth a little bit more on that in particular. So I don't know if you guys know, but 90% of Black owned businesses do not have access to capital. So, first of all, you already know that people or society itself is racist and discriminatory against us. So, that's why I make it a fact to always tell people how to make sure the business is set up right so we can have access to capital. Even getting our personal credit together helps with getting having access to that capital. And then over 60% of small business owners don't even have any paperwork in order at all. Some might have a DBA, which means doing business as. Some might have just an EIN number, but that's not going to help you get that access you need. It's a lot of people who do hair. It's a lot of people who have all type of business ideas. They run production companies, so on and so forth, and they keep applying for loans. They keep applying for loans, and they keep getting denied. But they don't know it's small things and simple things that keep them from getting denied. But we don't, if we don't ask the questions, of course, we'll never know. So, I just want to say, like, I started off, in the business of helping people because when I worked in banking, I saw that people that came in there were other ethnicities getting hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when people who, looked like me came in, they got absolutely nothing. And I could not figure out why they wouldn't give us any loans. And I thought it was just really based off of discrimination itself. But in reality, we don't know how to set our business up correctly. And that's something that it needs to be discussed, something that needs to be talked about actually on a regular basis, not just our personal credit as well, not just for businesses, but personal credit as well. A lot of people try to use CPNs as a way out or think if they get business credit, they'll be able to buy a car, a house, this and the other. There's no easy way around it. People always looking for an easy out when you just have to take the time. All of this money that's being invested in fraud, you could use that same money to clean up your credit. It's really, it's not that hard. So we have to shift our mindset more so instead of thinking, well, I need money to be able to make more money. How about if we attract money by building our business correctly and doing what we're supposed to do? So let's start there. So I know me personally, I'm starting a new business venture and I've come out of pocket quite quite a bit of money. And of course it's scary, of course it's nerve-wracking, but you still want to make sure everything is done the correct way so you can make sufficient income to be able to get by. So that way the money is attracting you. You have to have a relationship with money. If you're scared of money or you always think I don't make enough money to get by, you're never going to make enough money to get by. You're never going to receive what you rightfully is yours. Rightfully is yours. I used to think like when you go to church, how they always be like, oh, it's easier to get through the eye of a needle for a camel to get to the eye of a needle than to for a rich person to go to heaven. Them people just saying stuff like that because they want you to be able to give them all your money. Don't get me wrong, you're supposed to pay tithes, your 10% supposed to come off top, but they're not telling you the other 200 times in the Bible when God said that everything that you have, you want, you blessed, and you're supposed to be abundant. So that's why I always tell people, whether it's religion, whether it's business, whether it's personal, read it for yourself. So that way you know that what you know. So don't just take things like that for granted. And then we need to start operating our business as a real business and not as a side hustle. Like I said, don't just have an EIN number. Don't just have a DBA. Um, there's different types of business structure, and you have to look and see what's the best structure for me in order to be successful and do what I need to do. It's a point in time where I got denied, and my credit score was over 700. I personally got denied, and I'm asking, how am I getting denied? And I have good credit, but it's because you're missing key items and key things in your business that a lot of people aren't talking to you about. A lot of people aren't discussing with you. So you're not going to all the time get approved for business credit unless you have your personal credit together, which is called a PG. They want you to be a personal guarantor because a lot of people open up companies and then they get all of this business credit, run it up, then they think it's okay because, okay, I could just dissolve the business. But if you're a PG, legally, they can come after your personal credit at some point if you don't pay that debt. But people don't want to talk about that side of the business credit. They only want to talk about how they got approved for hundreds of thousands of dollars. But if you want to get approved for business credit, your personal credit has to be up to par somewhat as well. I would say at least a score of 640 or higher. You just can't have, bad personal credit and think you're about to get a lot of business credit. So the difference between structure versus strategy. So there are 6 pillars that will make or break your chances of getting funding. So first, like I stated before, the entity setup. You must have an LLC or a corporation, not be a sole proprietor, not working just under your EIN or your social security number. Everything must match. So when I say everything must match, the EIN number and name must match, the business name must match, the act, like everything. And it's very specific. So even if your business address is something, something circle on your EIN number docs, if it has to be written out circle, if it has CR, everything, even the abbreviations must match in order to get the maximum amount of business credit. Everything is looked at and scrutinized seriously. Business address. You have to be careful with the different companies you use for a business address. iPostal, a lot of people I know use iPostal. Anytime they type in your business address and it look like a PO box place, you're not going to get business credit, or you're not going to get huge lines of business credit. It can't look like a post office box. So that's another thing. I recommend companies like Regis or a Virtual Alliance and things like that, or actual real brick and mortar. You can't use certain companies, so you got to do your research. If you have to use your home address to start off with, that's fine, but you need to update that because when you own a business, that's personal information. So people are going to look up your house all the time. When people is getting those PPP loans and using their home address, all of that is on the internet, and it stays on the internet. You want to have a 411 listing for your business. If a person contacts 411 and they ask, for your business phone number and everything, that needs to show up. When people are going to give you credit, they're looking for those type of things. And then a real business email. It can't be, you know, besttaxesever@gmail.com or credit repair goat at yahoo.com. Like it has to be a real business email. My business email is info@joinkayla.com. It has to be something that you have to pay for it. I know a lot of times we don't have extra money, but a business email might be $6, $7 a month, give or take. But you have to look at the big picture because that's what's going to determine if you're fundable, if you're going to be able to get those lines of credit. Number three is a business bank account. You have to have a business account. You can't be using your personal account for business. So when they're asking you for verification and information, they're going to say, we need your statements from your business account. You have to provide that you have a real business account. You can't get the business account without the LLC. You can't get the LLC without the business address, business phone number. So it's steps and it's levels to these things. And if you don't have anyone to help you, just ask, reach out. No question is a dumb question. We all have to start somewhere. I started off with a Google number because I couldn't afford a business phone number. And when it comes to business numbers, there's certain companies, which are some better than other. I definitely recommend Ring Central. They're really good for business numbers. Grasshopper, okay, but not so much. So you have to research to make sure um, you're getting the best for your dollar because all of that takes into consideration depending on how much lines of credit that the people will approve you for. Online presence, website, with legal disclaimers. People need to Google your business. And to set your business up on Google is absolutely free. It's free to set your business up on Google. So, and it takes a matter of a couple of weeks to get verification. So you want to set those things up properly in order to make sure the funding is what it should be, based on your business and how much you need. And you want to make sure you have any licenses or compliances that you may need, depending on the city and state that you're in, and also depending on the type of industry that you're in as well. So you want to make sure you have that together. And then a business DUN number. A DUN number is free. Also, remember that people try to charge you for a DUN number. It is free, and you want to start off with business accounts, even if you don't need some of the stuff that are Net 30s accounts, like Uline, Quill, Granger. I purchased a whole bunch of household items and paid it right back just to build my business credit in the first tier of business credit. But you're going to always use them. You're going to always need soap. You're going to always need tissue. You may need office supplies. So you want to, got open an account with CEO Creative. I had Uline as well. I had Quill. So I started with those tier one accounts in order to build and establish my business credit. So those are basically the six pillars that are make or break your chances of getting funding. And they're small things. It's not nothing huge that you have to go out your way to get in order to start building that business credit. A lot of mistakes people make when it comes to funding, different addresses on different documents. So you want to keep everything consistent, the same business address you use for everything. If it's a virtual business address or a brick and mortar, it has to be the same. Using your personal bank account, absolute no. You're not having that DUN number. Using Gmail or Yahoo, whatever its email address is not that business address, and not having that phone or that website. You want to have some type of presence, because if you want somebody to give you 50, 75, $100,000 and they can't Google you, they're going to be like, I don't trust this person. How do we know that this is a legit business? How do we know we're going to get our money back? So you have to remember that these are people as well that need their funds. So they don't want to take any chances. You want to grow your business and they want to make money off the interest. Let's call a thing a thing. Now, what you can do if you don't have any of those things together, you can Google using the QR code, excuse me. I said IRS code, the IRS on my mind. Using a QR code and you'll be able to book a strategy call with me, and we can set up for like, a free 15-minute interview to go over where your business currently is, what is it that you need for your business, and how can I help you get to that point. And we can set that call up using that QR code that is stated right there. So you can take a screenshot now or go back to it in order to set up that consultation to make sure your business is set up correctly. So when you do apply for business funding, you'll be able to obtain that funding that you need for your business. And then also, here are a couple of ebooks that I created. You could download your copy here, or you can use the QR code as well. Said I did just start a new business. So I just started a car dealership. So I created an ebook on if that's something you're interested in, on how to go about getting that dealership started. How to live tax free, how to stop leaving money on the table by making sure your business is set up right. And then the blueprint on how to start your own business. Some people want to start their own business, but they don't know how, they don't know which way to, where to start. You can purchase those ebooks as well. You can download your copy right there using that QR code. So now that structure basically equals strategy. So what are you going to do to move forward to make sure that your business in particular is a fundable business, to make sure your business is in a position of being able to be funded? So those are some things you need to think about tonight, and let me know, or either, like I said, book that consultation and we can go over it together. You can say where your business currently is, what you're trying to get to, and then we can take it from there. But once again, because nobody could hear me at first, I was talking 10 minutes to myself. I don't know what was wrong with the audio. Hey, Faye, once again, my name is Kayla Joshua. And, if you want to reach out to be able to obtain any of these things, the virtual address, if you need help with the business email address, LLC, even if you want to start a nonprofit, let me know. We can schedule a consultation. I do have bundles as well. If you just feel like, here, I don't feel like doing all this myself, I will prefer for someone else to do it. Not a problem. I'll be able to assist you in that matter. So whenever you do get your taxes done, whomever you go to, whether it's me or anybody else, trust me, they will be happy that your business is actually set up and done correctly, because you're able to come. Thank you, Chappelle. I'm excited. I can't wait to like post it. So y'all like the first ones to hear it. But definitely they'll be able to do your taxes with no problem. It's so many times I have clients who don't have their stuff together. So it's frustrating for me as a preparer, and I'm pretty sure it's frustrating for the client, but people, they don't know. We never was taught this by our family, not by, our friends, school. You know better, you do better. So we just got to get to the place where we're all on the same page and we out here getting this money together legally. But thank you for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate you guys. And I'll see you next Thursday for the next topic.